Hey, Kilted Warrior here. Hope you're having a great day. Remember to subscribe if you enjoy this video, and if you'd like to see more videos covering Elder Scrolls, Fallout and Mass Effect, feel free to check out the channel. Otherwise, let us begin. Morrowind, Dunmer, Resdayn, a land of fire and ash. Here, fleeing persecution, Veloth and his people made a home in the shadow of doom and destiny. They were to be tested, and though they would stumble and face ruin from within and from without, the spirited people, worshipping gods old and new, would endure and create a legacy of triumph, hubris, regret, and be at the heart of events that would define a people, the world, and the divine. And its saints and heroes would never be forgotten, so long as the ancestors watch over the heirs of the moon and star.
Now go, mortal. Embrace your destiny. Defend these lands with my blessing.
Mephala and the Morag Tong. The Dunmer are a complex people with a sense of morality and action that can seem alien to the other peoples of Tamriel, as they came to worship Daedra and rejected the Aedra that had led to the schism among the peoples of ancient Alinor as Veloth guided them to their new home. They have an orderly system of laws and communities, yet they venerate Daedra, who are supposedly of discordant nature. And they also allow legal assassination in a political system that can be only described as orderly chaos. To understand the enigma that is Dunmeri politics and religious practices, as well as their fluid system of morality, you need only understand the Daedric prince known as Mephala, the Webspinner, and the Morag Tong, an equally mysterious organization molded in the image of their patron goddess. Join me as we try to glimpse into the enigma of the Dunmer people, that is their relationship with Mephala, her Morag Tong, and what it tells us about this most fascinating people. Mephala and the Dunmer, the secret arts of survival. Mephala, the web spinner, the teacher of the secret arts. The Dark One pulls at the strings that chart the fate of the Dunmer people. Like Azura, she holds a crucial place in the development of their civilization, their customs. She is said by some to have been involved in the downfall of mighty Trinimac, who sought to punish the Chimera under their prophet and Saint Veloth, possibly having stabbed him in the back as he fought Boethia, if the accounts are to be believed. Regardless, for the Dunmer, the question is, why do they look to her for guidance, this being who relishes in murder and dark deeds? When the Chimera left Alinor, having followed the great Saint Veloth to the harsh lands of Resdayn, the gravity of what they faced became apparent. For with Alinor, a beautiful, rich and bountiful land, they could cater to all their needs, and it allowed for the creation of a strict system of harmony in the image of Auriel's perfection. With Resdayn, this would not be possible, and now the Chimera followed more discordant beings. So the society that they would build would not be of calm harmony. No, they would forge a new kind of orderly chaos, for they would follow the example of their great ancestor deities. that of Azura, Mephala, and Boethia, each teaching the Chimer valuable lessons on how to prosper in this most harsh and alien land. Azura gave them community and the wisdom of past generations, Boethia the strength of will to do whatever it took to win no matter what, while Mephala taught them the secret arts that would allow them to survive not just physically in this harsh land, but as a society. The Dunmer, having split from their more stagnant cousins with their rigid view of reality, would need a system that would allow the expression of their now inherently ambitious and discordant natures. Yet such behavior is liable to destroy a civilization eventually, or make it weak, divided, untenable. Mephala, as a master of intrigue, manipulation, the Whispering Lady would teach her followers the secret to an ever-changing balance of power, murder, destruction of fortunes, scheming that would allow the Dunmer great houses to consolidate power without falling prey to the weakness of complacency as with the Altmer. Mephala taught them balance through murder. Anyone can gain power, hoard wealth, but if they are not careful, their rivals are obligated to scheme as to their demise, therefore restoring balance. Yet the great ancestors, like the Dunmer, are vindictive and vengeful, liable to disrupt a system of careful plotting with ideals or emotions. Therefore, Mephala granted another gift to the Dunmer, a means to maintain the balance, a neutral group who would keep the scales in balance and enforce through secret murder this dark equilibrium. She gave them the Morag Tong.
You have done well, mortal. There are some things that must be done to preserve the order, and it will be amusing for me when this business comes to light. I look forward to it. Take this ring, mortal. Through the brightest day, it will carry you with speed and stealth. Leave me now.
The Morag Tong, the Foresters of Fate. Dunmer society is anathema to the old Mary-styled one that they originated from, for theirs is a system that thrives on discordance, as befits the Daedra that first led the Chimer away from Alinor's influence. Yet such discordance, with mere jostling for position and expanding their power, as well as their influence, might lead to the forest that is Dunmer society and its ambitions to be overgrown. Foresters are needed to keep Dunmer society in check, to prevent discordant ambition between the powerful spilling into wider society and weakening it. The Morag Tong are truly a Mephalian solution to the Dunmer problem, for their first and most crucial mandate is to prevent an all-out war between the great houses, whose ambitions know no bounds. For Mephala knows that a carefully placed knife thrust into the right neck at the right time, cutting a thread of fate that can prevent a horrible fate befalling Morrowind and allowing life to continue. For Mephala, it is a game of intrigue. To the Morag Tong, it is a duty and good business. For the Morag Tong are not mere butchers like those in the Dark Brotherhood. They are lawful executioners who keep chaos at bay. They are artists of finesse, not just in blade, poisons and stealth, but in navigating politics and intrigue, just as the Lady of Whispers desires. To execute a writ, is as much a sacred duty, a celebration of Mephala's teachings, as it is for profit. To be a member is a most curious thing, as Mephala encourages advancement and outmaneuvering your superiors, until you may take their place. Yet one need not kill the Grand Master, for example, to replace them. For Mephala may allow the worthy to retire, for the Morag Tong are not savages. Theirs is a dance with Mephala. A throat slit here, a damning scandal instigated there, a political scheme, and a whisper in the ear that causes even a great house councillor to tremble. None are above the writ of execution. If you slip up, no matter who you are, the Morag Tong will enact Mephala's will upon you as her instruments. For the greatest assassins of the Morag Tong, the great foresters, prove themselves through finesse, cunning, and ruthless pragmatism, all for the enjoyment of the plot weaver. And so the Morag Tong has built a reputation of ruthless efficiency in Morrowind throughout its history. Yet mastery of the secret arts is the key to their success, and when they stray from Mephala's teachings, should they fall prey to ambition, even the foresters may be felled.
Call me Webspinner, pluck but a single thread, and the weave unravels. In Blinker's way, true families, Nord and Dunmer, live in perfect harmony, but beneath the surface lurks the secret seed of strife. Kill the leaders of the two families, plant evidence to implicate the other family as the killer. And don't get caught, be cunning, don't spoil my schemes, and don't die, that would spoil everything.
The Tong's Hubris and the Dark Brotherhood. Though the exact origins of the Morag Tong are unclear, as is the possibility that more than one Daedric prince was involved, throughout the First Era they had consolidated themselves within Chimer society. With the growth of the great houses, as many tribes set down roots in ancient Resdayn, the writ was respected by all Chimer of the settled Velothi, and even when the tribunal rose to prominence and pushed the good Daedra to a secondary position, the foresters of Mephala maintained their crucial role in the now Dunmer society, even as some were believed to have taken Vivek as their new patron. Their reputation grew, and the order expanded beyond Morrowind gradually. Their name was feared, for if a Morag Tong assassin with a writ was in an area, both men and mer were wary. This fearsome reputation of respect would reach its zenith with the assassination of the last of the bloodline of Raymond Cyrodiil and that of Emperor Raymond III. It sent shockwaves through the Empire and Tamriel. The Morag Tong were everywhere, their reach far, their next target only they knew. With the rise of the Akaviri Potentate, the Tong would see its golden age, as the Potentate would tolerate them as a pragmatic tool to keep the chaos of political infighting at bay. However, with success comes pride and hubris. For the Morag Tong was no longer content to act purely in the shadows, and their belief that they could kill without consequence would be their undoing. For in the 324th year of the Second Era, the Akaviri Potentate, Versedu Shale, was assassinated by the Tong. So arrogant were they that the Potentate's own blood was said to have been used to paint the words Morag Tong throughout the Imperial Palace. With that act, Mephala likely sighed, for her disciples of murder had forgotten the lessons she taught. A punishment was due, not by her hands, but by those who had once cowered in fear, for they had broken the rules of the game. Don't get too ambitious, and know that if you make a wrong move, your enemies will destroy you. And so it was that the Tong throughout Tamriel were hunted down, butchered, as they had butchered the potentate, until they were cast back to Morrowind's shadows. Yet if that was not enough punishment, a Dunmer woman of mysterious origins, some say once a member of the Thieves Guild, decided to take a stricter line on murder, care not for laws, and invoking Sithis directly as her patron. This Night Mother was able to take advantage of the Morag Tong's decline, as it is said some of its members joined the new group of ruthless assassins that would become known as the Dark Brotherhood. And if the tales are true of Mephala being linked to the Night Mother, or even being her in disguise, then the blow was doubly painful for the Tong. Yet the decline would end, and over the later part of the Second Era and into the Third, the Tong would rise again from the shadows, and its guild halls would once again dot the landscape of Morrowind. Yet only time would tell if this new humbled order would learn the lessons, those of the secret arts, or were they doomed to repeat them? Whatever the case, the Foresters were just one of the threads of fate that Mephala pulled. Influential as they are and were, the question becomes, how far do the threads go, and who is trapped in her web?
I forgive your not knowing my name. Few can hear my whispers anymore. I am Mephala, the Lady of Whispers. I tug at the web of connections between mortals. Love, hatred, loyalty, betrayal.
The many plots of the Webspinner. The plot weaver naturally has many strings she pulls throughout Tamriel for her own enjoyment. The Morag Tong may be the most notable one, but there are many plots, big and small, world-changing and inconsequential. One particular form of plot that she loves to indulge in is the manipulation of individuals, heroes of great renown with the promise of great reward, usually in the form of artifacts. Just as the Tong seek out the fabled threads of the Webspinner created by the Daedric Prince of hedonism and debauchery, Sanguine, others have sought in particular the legendary Ebony Blade, the Vampire Blade. It is said that during the Oblivion Crisis, Mephala was so amused by a peaceful settlement known as Bleaker's Way, with its two harmonious families, one Dunmer, one Nord. She would seek out the hero of Kavach to assist her in cutting the ties that bound them, leading to beautiful discord as they sought each other's demise. Murder followed, as it always does in the wake of the Dark One. Yet when it came to the Fourth Era, she proved why she was also known as the Lady of Whispers, as the son of the Jarl of Whiterun, whose court mage had thought he had secured the Ebony Blade, did not realize that through the blade she would call out and manipulate the young man until the mighty Dragonborn was caught in her web, her plot. Through them, the blade would be freed, and would encourage the hero to commit murder against friend and foe as it feasted upon betrayal and bloodshed. For it tells us of one aspect of Mephala, her need for discord, but there is another artifact that tells us something else, with that of the Ring of Khajiit, sometimes associated with Meridia, yet for Mephala it is said to have been stolen by the great Khajiit thief god, Rajin, granting him the power to be hidden from all eyes. Yet he abused its power, its secrets, and like the Morag Tong who had become arrogant before their decline, it proves that in Mephala's eyes one must earn and keep earning the right to wield her secrets, her power, and if you're not careful she will expose you to the light. For only a fool trusts in the unwavering support of Daedra or their artifacts. So it proved in the case of the Morag Tong in the late Third Era, as it is said that the Nerevarine was tasked with killing an unruly Tong assassin. You show her respect through the lawful use of the writs, or you die. And so the hero earned the ring by proving themselves. Yet in the grand scheme of things, those were just small plots that affected some lives, but the plot weaver does not settle for such petty schemes. For there is one myth that surrounds Mephala that has fascinated and spurned much discussion among the knowledgeable of Tamriel, that being how she is related to the Dark Brotherhood and Sithis. As we already know, several Tong assassins found themselves joining the legendary Night Mother, not to be confused with the title within the Brotherhood, and it created a rivalry as the once mighty Tong, having to flee into the shadows following the Potentate's assassination, allowed the Brotherhood to expand its influence across the continent. The question is, did Mephala intend this to occur? Did she plot the rise of the Brotherhood as a rival of her Morag Tong? Was it true that Vivek forced them to give up their belief in Mephala, causing an exodus from the Order to the Brotherhood? None can know for sure, yet the Tong has always had a noted link to Sithis. Whatever the being's true identity is, Padome, Fadome, if it is even knowable, yet the Khajiit call her the keeper of Fadome's secrets. Yet a group called the Silken Ring, who were deserters from the Tong, Brotherhood and even the Shadow Scales, were believed to know the true nature of Mephala as the guardian of secrets that the fools of those other assassins groups refused to see, and given her link to Azura in Dunmer customs, as she too is said to be linked to Sithis and Lorcan. Yet Mephala also has a link to Hubris Mora, who is said to be also related to the Tong, as he is considered to be her twin, and they seem to both pride themselves in the acquisition and guarding of secrets. It builds a picture of her nature as the teacher of secret arts, the shadows of murder. Is she the greatest disciple of Sithis, Padome, Fadome, and their discordant actions, and the pursuit of glorious murder? For there is also the myth that the Night Mother is one of her many disguises as she manipulates mortals, and would indicate that she is the puppeteer of some of the most legendary assassins guilds in Tamriel. She sees them all rise, fall, and be reborn. Could it be a coincidence? Or if not, is she part of the greatest plot in existence, involving Lorcan, Azura, Hubris Mora, and the legacy of the being known as Sithis? Conclusion. Rising in discord, ruling in balance. Another thread of fate has been cut short, as the Webspinner continues her schemes, for there is always political intrigue afoot in Morrowind. Next time we shall explore the politics, history and the heroes of the great houses of Morrowind, and see how they shaped the Dunmer into the tough, cunning race we know. That said, I hope you enjoyed this video. Remember to give me your thoughts on Mephala, the Tong, and the question of the day being which is your favourite guild and why. They may be joinable or not. Don't forget to rate, comment and subscribe. Otherwise, please stay safe, have a great day, and thanks for watching. Question of the day. Which is your favourite guild and why? So for my favourite guild is the Morag Tong for a few reasons. That said, the Dawnguard / Volkihar guild style was still very good in Skyrim, and they are arguably the strongest from a pure gameplay design perspective, given how involved they are. So the infamous Tong, why are they my favourite? The most important reason is roleplay viability. You see, the Morag Tong are one of Elder Scrolls' true neutral factions, and therefore they can be plausibly lawful, chaotic, warriors, mages, rogues, good, evil, and neutral characters. They're all valid, and with the lawful writ system as a Dunmer especially, you can note the assassinations as a necessity of Dunmer society in keeping balance. Of course, a mercenary character does it for the reward, and the murder hobo does it because they enjoy the glorious murder and frankly it's free real estate. Also, I loved the Morrowind armor design for the Morag Tong. I will also admit that the Skywind take on the armor has also made me very excited for the Morag Tong. They actually did a walkthrough a few years back where it was a Morag Tong writ. The other reason is I've always found Mephala to be an interesting deity, probably in my top 5. And you couple that with the shenanigans between the Tong, Brotherhood and Shadowscales, which also has always interested me. That said, make sure to let me know what your favourite guild is and why. I would love to hear your thoughts. Otherwise, again, have a great day and thanks for watching.